Hey there, internets. Pixel Geek here with another Pixel Geek community spotlight. In this one, we'd like to introduce a longtime community member, Steven Love. Let me get him on the record. Hey, Steven, how you doing?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Doing well. Yeah, but before the stream, we were like, or sorry, before the recording, we were like trying to get everything situated. And thank you so much for taking the time. You're like at a coffee shop right now, making sure that everything sounds good and looks good. So appreciate you taking this time to share your story with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Steven, how I know you is that you've been coming to the live stream, live chats, very consistently. And I would always call you, well, what your name on YouTube is, the Marine from Texas. And I'd always call you that and thought you were at Texas. And then more and more, you've started to reveal who you really are. And now I know you as Steven. And it's so awesome to meet and speak with you. And thank you for being a supportive community member.
Thank you. I oftentimes I get that people are like, "Well, yeah, the Marine from Texas," and they think I'm still in Texas, and I'm like, "I'm from there. I reside in Florida right now." So
Yeah, awesome. So, can you tell us, like, give us a little bit of backstory? Like, how did you get into the no code space? Like, how did you find your way to web design?
sure. So actually, not too long ago, you introduced another member who had a very similar story to mine, and I actually got introduced to it through code.
Oh,
I came in the Dreamweaver days, and I Dreamweaver and MySpace, and actually trying to make your MySpace look totally better. So you had to get some snippets of code and put it in there. And I always looked and I said, "There's no way in the world I'm going to figure out how to do this correctly."
yeah.
And just code was so difficult, and who could understand that? But little bit by little bit, I had some outside influences that encouraged me to pick up some books back when we had libraries and you can actually go to a book, go get a book rather. And I would look at books on how to code. And I went in and started messing with MySpace and learning how to code and put together a website on Dreamweaver. And it
Yeah.
evolved from there.
Yeah. So yeah, MySpace, like I've told, I had a interview with Mackenzie recently, and we were talking about MySpace too, how it was the wild, wild west
It was.
of internet. It was like the big hair '80s, like you just do anything you want and go for it. Um, so starting at MySpace and then learning Dreamweaver, is that when you started to take it more seriously and wanted to make it a business, or was it still just a hobby?
It was a hobby at that point, and I started putting things together and just seeing, getting a foundation on how the internet worked, with HTML and CSS, and just trying to understand it all. But then life took a different path. I continued to grow up, and of course, I was still pretty young at that time, so I continued to grow up, and it took a completely different path. I ended up in college, and then from college, I ended up in the military.
Hmm.
I got the privilege to serve in the Marine Corps, and I really didn't mess with code for a long period of time after that, but it always struck me as fascinating.
Hmm. So it was still in the back of your mind after you served. Um,
Yes.
what was that moment that you're like, you know what, let me pick this back up again?
Sure. So fast forward many years, I was trying to get some work done, and I was looking at starting my own business, but then I needed a website, and I started looking at a lot of the options that were existing at that time. They had GoDaddy, and they had a lot of other different companies, and the one that caught my attention was Weebly.
Yes,
And
I remember
then
that one.
I saw Weebly, and I'm like, "This is the best thing since sliced bread." Woohoo! And then came their competition, Wix. And I'm like, this is even better. So I was just completely mesmerized. But I said, wait a minute, it's drag and drop. And I can do this. And oh, it looks so pretty. And it was like, I'm telling you, I'm in this web design thing all over again. It's refounded love, but I don't have to code anything.
Yeah.
And that's really where it started out. But I found myself really falling more in love with the aesthetics at that point, more so than the code behind it.
Hmm.
But then, unfortunately, one day I stopped and I said, well, let's look at some of the code behind it. And, well, yeah,
Well,
it was a little.
that's interesting. You would say, let's look at the code behind it, because a lot of people who are just marketers or just graphic designers, they're scared of code, or they don't even want to look at the code, and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to drag and drop and press publish, and it's done. And code is the foundation of all things computer, and HTML CSS is the foundation of web design. So, you did mention that you weren't interested in code, or you weren't interested in the code it produces, but then what made you go, wait, let me look under the hood and let me look under this rug and look at this, you know?
It's because I'm a person. I like ingenuity and I like core structure. I
Mm,
like to look at how things are built. I like to reverse engineer things. So that's one thing that I applied in this particular perspective. I looked and I said, I wonder how this thing really works and what's behind it. And I looked at the code and I was like, this is a little strange because, well, it really shouldn't be written like that. Or maybe it could be written better. And then I found a lot of things were limiting. I had
mm.
very little ability to customize the way I wanted to. And I said, but I can't do it, but this won't let me. So I found myself emailing them a lot. And it wasn't the best of best solutions. But then one day I was watching YouTube and happened to come across a man who introduced WordPress and particularly a website builder called Divi.
Okay, yeah.
And then I evolved to WordPress, and it was literally like that guy sold me immediately when I saw what can be done, and it took me into a different world.
Nice. So each time you found a new software, you're like, this is it. This is it.
Yes,
So
each time it was something different, and it just took me to a higher level, if you will.
was that the point when you got onto WordPress? Was that the point where you started to be more serious about it and made it a business?
Not even then.
Oh,
It
it was
wasn't
still a
until
hobby.
yes, it wasn't. It was still a hobby. I was still doing websites and things like that on the side, and then one day, unfortunately, uh, life was handed to me,
Hmm.
and I was working. I just got out of the military. I went to work for a non-for-profit. I was working there, and unfortunately, we didn't see eye to eye, and I lost my job.
Oh,
And when I lost my job, I lost my benefits. Likewise, due to some unfortunate circumstances, I went through all the life savings, and then I lost my home.
oof.
And unfortunately, I was homeless for a little bit of time. And that's when I said, you know what? I don't want to go back to work for corporate America. This is my opportunity to find out who I am. And I know I'm in the thick of things, but I was developed and built for this. I'm going to survive this, and I'm going to come out on top better than I ever have. And that's when one day, browsing through YouTube, I got, I just was looking and I happened to see a video by none other than Ron Segal. And I saw one of your videos, and I'm like, Webflow? What's this Webflow? And then I said, wait, so let's look at it. And when I saw the video, it immediately completely changed my mind about web design as a whole. And I also saw that it could become a business as well. And I said, wait. And that was the light bulb moment.
What year
And
was
it took
this?
off. This was, I want to say 2017, I want to
Yeah.
say.
So yeah, at that point, that's when Webflow was starting to push harder, and that's when we had Webflow CMS, so you can make blogs and whatnot. Um, that's a powerful story, and the whole survival and getting back up, and maybe that's coming from your military background, and learning from that kind of training. So
Yes.
I'm I'm so glad you found your way out, and that's a crazy story to listen to, and I'm so grateful for one that you found internet access to browse YouTube, to find this nugget called Webflow, to find Ransigal's channel, to find mine channel, and I guess it's one of those things that we need to do as humans. If we find something, find some pieces of knowledge, find ways to freely give out this knowledge, because like if that knowledge wasn't free to you for you to find, where would
Exactly.
where would you be? So I'm super glad that Ran and my videos found their way to you. And I'm guessing, so I'm wondering now, what was that magic spark that made you go, this is it, this is Webflow? Because I know you found sparks in Divi, Wix, Weebly, and Dreamweaver, but now what was that moment in Webflow?
Sure. Each of those moments, it was really remarkable. And I was working in freelancing and living on the side. But when I saw it, I really saw what you were doing, and I saw what Rand was doing, and several of the community members. And I really kept paying attention to Rand. And he kept talking about freelancing and being able to do this and enjoy this. And as I saw where you could make money and make a nice, decent living and be able to charge the prices that he was charging, I said to myself, well, how in the world can you get clients like that? Who's going to give you that much money? And at first, I was a little skeptical. I
Yeah,
was a little skeptical because you see internet marketers talk
yeah.
about it all the time.
You
But
can be
then,
your own boss and make
exactly,
millions in 1 minute.
of course. And when I saw consistency, and I saw the consistency, I saw how you all were interacting with the community, and I saw the popular demand. I said, you know what? I can do this too.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge, but I said, I can do this too. I can make money off of it. And I will be honest with you, it really, between the two of you and several of the no code community members, it really pushed me out of a place of darkness. It was pushing me out of a place of depression, even. And between that and then the humor that is Webflow University, it put me in a different place. And I said, I can do this. And
Yes.
that's really what that spark was. And I took off from there.
Nice. Nice. It wasn't even the web design tool or any of the features. It was the community. I'd love to hear that. That is amazing. And I'm so glad again you found your way out, and these videos from all the community members are helping you. It's so right after that, I guess that's when you decided I'm gonna make a business, and Rand's videos helped you do that. How long has your business been going? When did you start your business?
I initially started it, this one in particular, 2018. It was shortly afterwards.
Nice.
And I really just took some time and really pushed through Webflow University. I had to stop laughing so much and actually start paying attention to the content. So I went through it and I pushed myself. And between that and then Ron Segal's masterclass, and then I would sit there and join on with you on YouTube, and I would force myself to learn hard stuff. And I'd be like, why? But it was your ability to problem solve live and be transparent and mess up and still come back and say, wait, uh, and fix that problem. That's really what kind of pushed me. And I said, I can do this as well and combine other skills and things that I learned in the military and learned growing up to make it a full-time business.
Awesome. I am so glad. And the reason why I live stream is two reasons. And you may have heard me say this already, but just want to tell the community too. I like to be honest, and I don't like to edit myself. And it's like watching a sports game. When you're watching like football or something, you're rooting for your team, and if your team messes up, well, you're rooting for the next play so they can get back up and keep going and make that touchdown or goal or whatever. But if you want to watch edits, then you're watching just the highlights and everything looks perfect. And to me, the process, the failures are more important than just the successes. And the other reason is
Absolutely.
I'm lazy to edit.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
That takes a lot of time, and I don't
I
have that.
understand, and I will say also, just as much humor and fun that I had through Webflow University, I get that also on your live streams. Sometimes it's the partnership between you and your family, you and your wife in particular, and how she'll design something super amazing, and then you'll come in and be like, "Oh, I just love the way she puts this together, and she's one of the amazing designers." And then you would come in and build it, and I'm like, "See, I love that teamwork. I love the consistency, but I love that transparency and saying, guys, you guys can do it too."
Yeah,
And have fun. So I love it. I love it. I love it.
yeah. That I mean, yeah, transparency, honesty. That's what this community is all about. And the more we show that, the more we can bring other people up and say, "Hey, it's not an easy job. It's not easy to babysit clients. It's not easy to build something from scratch. But if you put in the time and effort and learn every day, you will get there to where you want to be." And the proof is right here with Steven. So, I mean, that's super awesome. So I looked up your email domain name, and it was like Overtaken Media. Is that your business?
That's correct. Overtaken Media Group.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. So I see that you just have a landing page and it's coming soon. Is that something you're working on right now?
Yes. So what I did was actually I originally built it in WordPress, but because Webflow made such an impact, and a lot of the other no code tools that I've come across recently have made such an impact on me, I decided to take that and then the other two businesses that I have and change all the websites over to absolute 100% no code. So I'm redoing everything in Webflow. I am doing everything no code, just because the tools one are absolutely amazing and they continue to evolve. But a lot of the companies that I've come across, what they stand for, you know, what they're doing for the community and what they're doing for people, just speaks such volume to me that it's worth redoing the entire website again just to make sure that I'm with them. So I'm really appreciative of it. So yes, we're doing the whole thing over in Webflow.
Nice, nice. Let me know when it launches. I want to tweet that
Yes,
out and help you with that. Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, do you have any advice for anyone who's starting in the no code space from what you've learned through this long journey to get here? What can you tell our community?
Well, there's something that I learned growing up, and then there's something that same thing I learned in the Marine Corps
Mm,
also, and it was never quit and never give up.
yes.
There's a lot of people who may look at no code tools and say it's too frustrating, it's too hard. I'm going to go back to something easy. I'm going to go back to something simple, but it's never too hard. It's never too difficult. You can actually go in, you can learn it, and you can do it. Also, I would tell people to, of course, there's plethoras of tools out there that are available, but look underneath the surface and look underneath the top layer. Get to the core of what's there. One of the things that I can say about every single one of these tools that I'm using is that underneath the tool are people, and these people that I've come across are led by people who genuinely have a true love and a true passion for what they do, and that right there makes the tool 10 times better. I can say I was there with you guys every single day of the Webflow World Tour and was super happy about that. And I met so many amazing people. The CEO of Bevy messaged me. I had people from across from every one of those no code tools that I made friends with. And I said that right there was worth its weight in gold, and to be able to make those connections and to use those tools, it's amazing. So look underneath the hood and use those tools from a different standpoint other than just clicking on it, paying for it, and using it. And I would say the last thing also is, and I'm actually currently going to be doing this as well. I'm going to be looking at recording some videos in Spanish, and I'm going to be looking at recording some videos in Portuguese so that you can add to the community as well. And those, and that's give back. There's
Nice.
something that I learned a long time ago, and that is giving to others and teaching others without expecting anything in return is a beautiful thing, because you never know how it's going to come back to help you. I've seen people just say, like you, for instance, I'm just going to put this out there because I really am passionate about it. And look how many lives you and Ron Segal and Mackenzie Childs and Webflow, look how many lives you guys have changed. It's more than just a Webflow or a no-code tool. It's lives that have been impacted and changed because of what you guys are doing. So give back.
Yes. Yes. All these good vibes. Oh, great, great tips and advice. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time and thank you for your service. I am so glad that I know you and we are in this same no code community. Tell people where they can find you. Shout out your links and whatnot. Oh no, did I lose you? Oh, okay. Well, there you are. I can't hear you. Oh no. Are you muted? Let me check. No, you're not muted. But you can hear me, yeah? Okay. Well, um thank you so much again. I'll just go ahead and put Steven's links in the description and also tweet it out and everything. But thanks again to Steven for his time. And we're done. So until next month, that's it for the community spotlight.